Hello and welcome, viewer. This is just a furtherance of me working on my G0602 lathe, where I had the spindle troubles. You can go back and see that video. I had the facing on it where your back plate touches the spindle right here. The other one was all not cut right, so I got a replacement, rebearings and stuff, and I have a previous video for that. But I had issues with that, and combined with the head stock not being aligned. So I've been going through all this work to get everything adjusted and put in place how it should be, so I can actually do some work with this thing. Okay, so this is the new spindle. I got the new spindle in here, and the new bearings. I've already put all that in here. Okay, so I've already done some stuff, so I think I did cover that a little bit in my other one. How to align this off of here, because my back plates are, I don't know how they make them in the factory. I don't know if they make them on a different machine, or if they put them on this machine and try to true them up to make it true to the machine that they're selling you. I really don't have an answer to that. I think they possibly do with the 3-jaw that comes on it, but I don't think so with this one. This one wobbled really bad, as if you see some of my other videos, I talked about how it was on there and it would do this weird gyrating type of thing. Okay, so I think this one's just needs to be trued up anyways, because I have a completely true, the end of the spindle. Here's the old one. Now, I did have a different video where I did try to put a grinder on this, and I think my headstock was still not aligned, or it might have been, but I may have not done it right. You know, it was just a first initial attempt to do that. But this is the facing I was talking about, that the contacts the back plates right here. Okay, so the new one, I was pretty impressed. They put it on here, and the needle doesn't even move. So I put the indicator on this and turned it around, and it doesn't even move. But even though I have that other one, this one still is a little bit off. It's a lot closer than it was, but now this one's off. So I think this one was actually made true to this one, which really shows the workmanship that they did on it was just really lousy. This one had all sorts of pits and everything, and I had some other previous videos or pictures that showed that. So they had this one was off, and then they made this off to be true with that, and then this was, I don't even think was made on it, and the faceplate was the same thing. So my trouble was, how do I put this on here? I put the new spindle in here. Nothing's true. This wasn't true, and the other two items weren't true, and if they were trued up, they were trued up to the other spindle. So how do you align the headstock? The headstock was off. If the headstock was already on, that wouldn't be a problem. I could just true everything up with it that way. So what I did is, I checked this, the very outer facing. I did try to do that facing, I did try to adjust it, and then I actually just did it off the ends of this, and I think I was still within about a half a thousand. So what I actually did is, this has the most meat on it compared to those other ones. Because see, look at how far this sticks out, and look at how thick this is. If I'm only taking thousandths off to make skim cuts on this to true this up, then I can make some adjustments and take another skim cut. This was kind of the best thing for me, I think. So what I did is, because the width of this, the cross slide doesn't really move that far. And, excuse me. Okay, so I run out of distance to travel all the way across. I actually ended up putting one reference point on here, because this is right here and here, I had them about the same. So after I did a cut on this, I measured it, because I figured from like right here, see the rings right here, this point, even if it was sort of tapered cut, would still give me a basic reference point to make it trued up, to get it zeroed out. So I zeroed it out from here on both of them. So I put like a magnetic base here and another test holder in here, and then I put them on both sides. And so that's what I did, is I made further adjustments when they were both sitting on here. I zeroed them off of the same spot about right here. So if you had like an indicator and you moved it from here to here to here, and that was all correlation with each other, then I figured the other indicator, and I moved them both here and zeroed them out from here, they'd both be on the same spot. So then I moved them out where they fit, you know, on about an outer hedge just inside of one of the rings. And I think I have it right on there, because this thing was sort of off too. I think it was already had some taper, unless I did the first cut. I should have checked it first with the straight edge, because I figured that's what I was checking here, is to see if I had any gap on here. And I don't have any gap. When I and my thought is why am I having different measurements? When I initially, like, I think I did the first cut, I think I've made like a few cuts on here. But I had, you know, I'd start here with like a 0 point, and as it went in, I mean, I'd go to like in 10,000ths. And well, if I'm making a cut across here with and I'm moving the cross slide along with it afterwards with the dial indicator, I should be, you know, it should stay right where it is everywhere. Because even if this was off tapered, I'm still cutting it straight across with the cross slide. So if I'm moving a dial indicator across where I just cut, it should still be the same thing, and it wasn't. So I think it was already a little bit off. I mean, this faceplate, I did some cut on the outside, and I'm honestly thinking about doing some cuts on the inside, because I was turning this about the 560 RPMs, and this thing wobbles so bad, and it almost vibrates, because it's not true. It's the castings, and they're in here, and I don't know, I'm gonna try to cut some of this material out, because I'd rather this not vibrate. So if I could turn something, you know, at least 560 RPMs without it vibrating, so hopefully that didn't affect my cut on it. But I wanted to do this first on this one, kind of get everything test cut and dialed in, which I think I did really good, and so I can put the other ones on there, because you can see how much, I mean, there's that much thread material in here, and this thick in here where I can take this many cuts, and you don't have that with these other back plates. The next one I'm going to work on is the Forja one, I believe, but because I had an issue with that. Let me actually pause. I'm going to pause this video so it'll just cut, and I'm not going to sit here and hold on to this one. I'm going to change it. I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to put the Forja on here, and I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, I brought you back just a little bit early here. Now, one thing I noticed that's different with this spindle on here is that intersection right here. This actually on this one is a little bit tighter. When I get there, it starts to, I can feel it sliding on that. So I don't know if they made it goofed up, and they try to make a correction after correction, but this one's is certainly tighter when that back plate gets over here. So the inner boss area before it hits this back area right here, it seems like it's just more stable that way than the other one. So, you know, it's a good thing I got him give me a replacement spindle. But now the other one I had to do, one thing I did like about this, I don't know if all the other lathes that are out there are made with the safety latches here, because with something like this that didn't actually screw on, bolt on this way, I probably wouldn't feel as comfortable trying to cut it in reverse. I ended up having to do it this way because the carriage won't go all the way up here to be able to cut this facing right here. And when I tried my test at doing a tool post grinder on the other one, on the facing like this, I had to make a piece that stuck out from here. So I cut the other one this way, and but I wanted to show you, this is my concern with it. See, I don't have as much in here, and this is off. This is not concentric. I mean, this wobbles out, I think, about 5 thousandths or so. So it doesn't gyrate as much as it goes around this way. I'm going to put an indicator on here and show. Okay, so now this thing was really quite off with the other spindle. Let me get it right there. Oh, lock this thing here. Okay, so I got my flash on. I think it's causing a reflection problem. So I have it 0. No, it's only 3 or 4 thousandths where it was 10, 15. I can't even remember what it was on that. So now I'm not really worried about that. I could just take a little skim coat here. My trouble is right here. Let me put the thing on here real quick. All right, so I'm going to put it on here, and just going to move it in here. So I'm on the 0 there. Now I'm going to turn it. So I mean, it's like really useless. It's like I have to just really start over with that. And I mean, that's just not concentric, you know, forward and back this way. So, I mean, I don't know if they did cut it on the other spindle or not. But either way, it wasn't worth anything like that. The whole thing, front and back, and then side to side, did this gyrating thing, because this back plate is just that crappy. They got this step right here, and it's just useless. I'm gonna just have to cut this off and come in here further where I'm getting pretty close to this. Now I'm probably gonna just leave this and not get anywhere close to this. It's just that I'm gonna skim this down where it just makes it nullified, and then just move it back another, you know, what's that, about 100th, you know, 100.1 a tenth of an inch is yeah, because I mean, I want it to be true. I want everything to be true on. I mean, granted, I could possibly, with the 4-jaw, adjust some stuff out as long as it didn't go in a weird axial type of thing like this. If it just sat here and just went this way, you know, the 4-jaw, I mean, I think that's kind of, you know, the purpose of independent chuck is to be able to compensate for all these different things. But, you know, that's, I don't care for that. But anyways, I just figured I'd talk about that, because that's really my trouble, is I don't have a whole lot to go down. And I guess I kind of do. If I'm not really trying to shave all this down, I might cut this down a bit. But, shoot. I'm going to have to check to see, because honestly, the step doesn't go all the way down here into this, you know, into embossment, or I don't know, whatever this is. So I'm going to have to start over with the new thing. Part of the step will go in here, so I'll cut that down and then just make a new part. I don't know. Maybe I should, you know, make my complaint and see if they'll send me a new back plate and I can start over. That one is just really crappy. So, anyways, that's where I'm at with this thing. I put the new spindle in, and now I got to learn how to true everything up. You know, it's probably like a regular thing, but I was just trying to buy a lathe, and I could just practice with something that was already kind of ready to go, and I'm really just kind of cutting my teeth in doing these things, you know, preparing them all up and doing all this stuff. So it's just an update where I'm at. Thanks for watching.